I want to talk about enlightenment. And there are several forms of enlightenment, but the most important form of enlightenment to me is the acceptance of a very simple truth. A truth that, when accepted, sends what can feel like a debilitating shock through everything that makes you who you are and through the way you see and interact with the world. And that truth is that none of this shit matters. None of it really matters at all. It's so simple, but so difficult to accept because we have created several realities to affirm the belief that it all really fucking matters. How people view you matters. How uh, or your profession matters. Your position or your title on your job matters. How much money you make, how much you can make and hoard to yourself matters. What level of degree you have matters. How many achievements and awards you can accumulate matters. Politics matters. And of course, religion matters because if you don't get that right, the consequences are eternal. All of these structures, whether tangible or systems of belief, were created to be a solution for man's insecurity, a feeling of not mattering. And this reminds me of when I was in kindergarten. I remember getting stars for different accomplishments, like knowing the lesson or behaving a certain way. And I remember feeling very proud of myself when I would see the stars by my name, the stars there for the whole class to see. I felt special. I felt like I mattered. And that's what so much of this very short life turns into for people. Instead of the party that it's supposed to be, it turns into this grinding road of collecting stars. And because there can never be enough stars during life, we've created some very big stars waiting on us after death. But what happens when you find out that those stars are really meaningless, that some of them don't even exist, and that in most cases, they're just rewards given to you to keep you behaving the way the master likes you to behave? Be that master your supervisor, your peers, your pastor, your parents, the government, or your kindergarten teacher. One of my favorite thinkers is the astrophysicist Neil Tyson. He said something once that really stuck with me. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, in the future, the earth will become so close to the sun that it will be nothing more than charred embers. And when it gets too close to the sun, it'll disappear. And along with it, any evidence that you or any other human ever existed. It's a beautifully said truth that's hard to hear. Because in that, you can also hear that you don't matter, nor anything that you can ever do. How could it? It's a dark place with a lot of potential for light. Because on the other side of that is another truth, which is what does matter is what matters to you, what brings you joy and fulfillment. There's going to be times in life where you build something only to see it fall to the ground. I mean, if you live long enough, this happens to all of us. You really put your time and your energy into something, and you build it, and you watch it fall for whatever reason. And when that happens, when you're standing in the rubble of what you willed into existence, you can fall into a place of despair. But what you can also see left in that rubble is the truth. And with that truth, you have the opportunity to rebuild a reality that works for you. This is the task on the other side of enlightenment. The reality that all of this is meaningless doesn't have to be a place of despair. It doesn't have to be depressing. It can be liberating, and it should be. You don't have to give your limited time here to collecting stars. Instead, you can rebuild to have a reality that reflects what matters to you. It's the difference between decorating a home that projects how you want other people to view you versus a home that reflects who you are. Which would you rather live in? And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. You may have to tear down a reality that you worked really hard to build. But it's better to tear down that reality than to allow it to crush you. You could lose friends, but you'll be making space for people who want to be connected to who you truly are. And you may find the journey of building your new life extremely difficult, but when you're done, it will feel right because what's within will be aligned with the reality you now exist in. And you no longer have to live with the soul-crushing conflict we have all participated in creating to give ourselves a sense of meaning.